you be successful with your small, medium, or large businesses. And if you're not a member, please come join us. I will now pass this over to Cheryl Barnes, our Community Education and Advancement Committee Chair, for the awards.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you and everybody joining today. As Steve said, I'm Cheryl Barnes, Chair of the East Dallas Chamber Education Committee. And on behalf of my co-chair, Tammy Vines, and the Education Committee, I'd like to thank you for joining us today to recognize some of the amazing teachers that we're lucky to have in our community. Obviously, as mentioned, this year's presented us with the opportunity to be flexible. I think opportunity sounds so much better than some of the other words we've been hearing this year. And hopefully, as you were watching the slideshow prior to starting the meeting, the challenges presented to the learning environment in 2020 started at home. And these challenges were met head-on with some very special homeroom helpers. So I wanted to take a moment and thank everyone that shared on our Facebook page on how they have tackled virtual learning this year. And I don't know if you caught one of the slides. We had a homeroom helper with her can of Lysol, some toilet paper, which I'm sure was in demand, and a little bottle of Tito's vodka. So whatever it takes to make the learning successful for the homeroom helper, not the kiddos, surely. Our Chamber Education Committee has also learned to be flexible this year. So normally we would be gathering together at the Alice and Earl Nye Family Environmental Science Center on the Lake Hill campus, preparing a delicious plate of Rudy's barbecue and getting ready to applaud 6 outstanding East Dallas educators. And a beautiful day to be out there, but we're flexible. We'll do this. The setting might be different. However, the honor is the same. This year, we are recognizing educators who have taken whatever 2020 has thrown their way and found a way to go above and beyond to ensure that students continue to learn in an alternate environment. So it's my honor to recognize our Education 2020 Above and Beyond Recognized Teachers. First, we have Crystal Ya. She is a third grade teacher at Jack Lowe Elementary. And when the district was forced to begin the year virtually, Ms. Yao not only transformed her classroom into a virtual setting, but she created the systems, websites, and tutorial videos to help her peers. This work was noticed not only by the district, but from Franklin Covey and within the Dallas ISD Northwest Network. Franklin Covey reached out with an interest in her digital leadership binder that she created that incorporated the 7 habits and data tracking personalized to students. She created learning pathways for each student that includes levels of Jedi mastery with full in-person, online ceremonies, and celebrations. And you'll often hear from her students, I have my Jedi ceremony today. So I wanted to reach out, Ms. Yao, can you please take a few moments to speak to how you have adapted your teaching in 2020?
Hey, good afternoon, y'all. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. So this year, and I think every teacher will agree with me, this year has been the toughest year to teach ever. Now I've only been teaching for, this is my 8th year. But I have met veteran teachers that have been like, whew, this year is really rough. But my focus this year is to make my students feel loved and to make them feel like they really belong in our community. And so this year we've adapted to using Zoom, obviously, or some people are using Google Meet, but we do a lot of class meetings in the morning. And we also have a closing circle in the afternoon just to talk about themselves and to just build our community together. And so not only are we as teachers creating lots of digital or new digital resources so that we can reach all our students, not just here in class, but also at home, we are kind of like slaving away trying to figure out how to make our students just, again, feel welcomed. So huge kudos to all teachers and our admin and our staff here. I certainly believe in the quote that in which nobody achieves anything alone. And so we are just all working together the best that we can to digitize everything and to make our students feel safe and loved. So again, thank you so much for all of this, and huge shout out to everyone in the education field right now. So thanks.
Thank you so much. We appreciate everything that you do. The Greater East Dallas Chamber would like to honor Ms. Yao with an award of $250, as well as Jack Lowe Elementary with a gift of $250. So be on the lookout for that. We all know that teachers tend to spend some money out of their own pocket, so hopefully this will be something that you could use fun for yourself. So thank you so much. Next, we would like to honor Kelly Sims. Ms. Sims is a first grade teacher at St. Pius Catholic Church School. She is teaching both in classroom and virtual students right now. She's got 20 years teaching experience, ranging from preschool to fifth grade, special education, as well as general. She is a East Dallas neighbor. She lives in Old Lake Highlands with her two daughters, Clara and Caitlin. And we've got a couple of photos that Ms. Sims shared with us of her learning environment. You can see the kiddos are adapting very well. Ms. Sims, can you please take a few moments and speak to how you've adapted your teaching in 2020?
Well, I've been teaching for 20 years, and this is different than any other year. So I've taught everything from preschool to Montessori. I taught overseas for the Department of Defense. I've taught special education. So this is different. Have students virtual students. It's a challenge. It's double planning, but I think it's working. And actually, in the numbers that I had given you, they've even changed. I have now 11 students in person with me in the classroom, and I have 6 that are virtual. So we Zoom a few times a day, our scheduled times, and I have my students up here on Zoom and do our lessons, and they'll hold up their work and show me their work, and then I go around to desks and check the way. So it's different and a lot of adjustment, but I really think kids are motivated, having kind of being over the shock of spring shutdowns. I feel like the kids are ready to learn in the classroom. I haven't had one single complaint about them wearing a mask all day long, even outside for recess and PE. They are just happy to be around other kids. And then as for my virtual students, they just love the Zoom meetings and seeing their friends, and we do a lot of sharing, and they chit chat back and forth, and I think that's probably been one of my biggest concerns is the emotional well-being of the kiddos. But like I said, they seem happy and willing to kind of carry on. So, as a teacher, and with it being as difficult as it is, if the kids are motivated and working hard and sticking with me, I'm willing to just trek on and, keep going with this school year. And, I'm looking forward to getting all of my kiddos back into the classroom with me. But until that day comes, I think teachers are just adapting and students are adapting, and we just are going to take it one day at a time. And thank you very much for the opportunity with the Above and Beyond Award. I wanted to go ahead and get that in there. I really appreciate it. And I'm just absolutely thrilled for the recognition, and it's quite a reward. I appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's just listening to you speak about your students and how much you care for them. It reinforces everything we want to do as a chamber to recognize teachers like you. So thank you. We just got another couple of pictures of your classroom, I think. I tell you, from so far from Ms. Yao and Ms. Sims, I hear about how great the kids are with the technology and learning virtually. I think that I might need to have some lessons, so I might need to get some help from you. But Ms. Sims, the Greater East Dallas Chamber would like to honor you with an award of $250 and also $250 to St. Pius. So thank you again for everything that you do.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Next, we have Ms. Kylie Schaefer. Ms. Schaefer teaches social studies, Mexican American studies, and leadership at Bryan Adams High School. Just, give a shout out to Bryan Adams as an alumni. So, in addition, she is a senior class co-sponsor, as well as an advisor on the Freshman Mentor Program, which is known as the Link Crew. So, Ms. Schaefer, can you please take a few moments to speak to how you've made some changes and adapted your teaching? It looks like you've gotten back from your teaching right now, so thank you for having a minute to come back, and I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm really humbled about to be chosen. So this year has definitely proven one of the more challenging ones that I've had. This is my 8th year teaching, and we've had several years of like Cub Camp that we have kind of put on for our incoming freshman students. This year, like you saw, was quite different, and we were able to get our junior and senior leadership students to join us in a virtual training where they were going to lead, activities to kind of welcome and orient our incoming freshmen. So we have also created kind of like focus advisories where we have students that need a little more encouragement, a little more like follow-up, and we've been that's one of mine. So I've got juniors and seniors that are helping in that capacity. We've done a lot of including like SEL, so social emotional learning within lessons in class, more than I have in the past, which has been kind of nice, getting to know students even though it's not face-to-face as much. We've done a lot more just like check-ins. We see our advisory kids every single day, and so there's kind of that emotional connection that we're starting to get with our kids. It's been a uniquely different year as well, teaching like a brand new course to our campus and building out the Mexican American studies. And so I've actually gotten a chance to get feedback from the kids. And so that's been kind of nice, like kind of getting them to help me with something that we're putting together. So it's proven to have, some benefits to a different year than any other that I've ever taught.
Thank you so much. I would imagine high school presents a whole new set of challenges in today's learning environment. So we really appreciate everything that you do in helping, especially that mentoring program. I love to hear things like that. Just another slide show how we're keeping the students safe there. We have the industrial size hand sanitizer and lots of plexiglass around the desks. So Ms. Schaefer, just again, the East Dallas Chamber want to honor you with an award of $250 as well as for Bryan Adams High School. So thank you so much for everything you do, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And we also have Miss Christina Andre. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right. Miss Andre is with Mount Auburn STEAM Academy. She teaches fifth grade, and she supports her grade level peers by providing professional learning opportunities to upgrade their virtual learning tools such as YouTube and Google Classroom. She records model lessons on YouTube that are utilized district-wide for fifth grade reading teachers. Over the summer break, she volunteered to host virtual STEAM field trips and virtual discussions with authors for all the students on campus to help keep students engaged. Ms. Andre frequently uses her own funds or seeks grant opportunities to provide diverse selection of high-interest reading materials for her classroom. When not teaching, she enjoys time at home, blowing bubbles and playing with her 2-year-old. So, Ms. Andre, can you please take a few minutes and speak to what you've done to change and adapt with teaching in 2020?
Thank you again for this honor. You know, when March hit, it hit like a freight train. And thanks to my wonderful fifth grade team at Mount Auburn, I couldn't do this without them. And the amazing support from administration. You know, we kind of took a break and asked ourselves what was going to be the most important focus from March to May, and it was to continue providing familiarity for our students in a time of uncertainty. So my team last year, we came up with fun, engaging activities for our students daily with, you know, curriculum matter. But we also wanted to provide that SEL component with being able to check in and have, you know, conversations with them if they needed to have that support. So, you know, through that time, we found field trips for them to go to. We found guest speakers to come in and speak to the students. My reading partner and I, we started making our own little YouTube videos, kind of modeled after Stranger Things and Dr. Seuss, if you can imagine that. But it was just something to do for the kids, you know, and moving into this school year, you know, it's still the same crazy world. But now, you know, the focus is how can we still provide that excellence for our students academically who are not able to be with us physically. And so, again, through, you know, numerous brainstorming sessions and trial and error methods, our team just continues to try to strive that stability for them of being in school, of learning, and being able to explore academically, even if they're not in front of us, while still providing the SEL opportunities for exploring feelings, being okay with, you know, having good days and bad days, and whatever the challenges are, you know, day-to-day changes, and we kind of just have learned to adapt and roll with the punches. The technology goes out. Miss Andre's favorite response is turn it off, turn it back on, and hopefully that does the trick. So it's just learning to be flexible in a very challenging time, but from challenges grows opportunity. And I welcome all the challenges that have come so far because it just lets me learn more ways to become a better teacher in the end. So thank you again for this recognition.
Thank you. I had to giggle because I thought I was the only one that knew the trick of repairing everything by turning it off and turning it back on again. But thank you for that. One of the themes that I noticed with our winning recognized teachers is the social emotional learning and how important it is. So thank you, Ms. Andre. I really appreciate it. And as well, we would like to honor you with an award of $250 as well as a $250 gift to Mount Auburn. So hopefully that'll come in handy for new and creative things or just have fun for you. So thank you so much. So once again, just wanted to thank all of our recognized teachers for going above and beyond for the students in 2020. Also want to thank their administrators that nominated our recognized teachers this year. I know that Tammy and I in the education committee, we spoke of how busy everybody is, not only parents trying to learn a new normal, but our teachers and administrators. So taking the time to nominate and to participate, it means a lot. So thank you so much. One of the benefits of a membership with the Greater East Dallas Chamber of Commerce is that you get access to some of the top leaders in the field of education in Dallas. One of those leaders is our very own Roger Perry. Mr. Perry is headmaster of Lake Hill Preparatory School and a member of our chamber board of directors and a past chamber chair. Mr. Perry has graciously agreed to speak to education in East Dallas, how it's changed, what the future holds, as well as how we can be a support. So welcome, Roger.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. Obviously, the first thing I'd like to do is recognize the 4 recipients of the awards today. What a special honor to have in a time that we've never experienced before. I would encourage you to keep doing everything you're doing and know that you're appreciated, even if people are too busy to tell you that you are. You know, I think above and beyond says a lot about everyone that's in the school business at this point in time. All teachers, all administrators have had to do things they've never even considered doing. I think one of the positives of this is that for some of us who might be considered dinosaurs, it has allowed us to gain knowledge and technology, utilize that technology, and see that there's so many benefits to using it that maybe we had kind of discounted and thought it wasn't as critical as it could be. But wow, it makes a difference. It's a difference in young people being educated and not being educated, because we can continue. We've proven as schools, public and private, that over the last 7 or 8 months, we are able to continue with education. We've had to make some big changes, but you know, it's caused all of us to kind of look at things. And the national experts have told us for several years now, we had to look at different ways to provide education to our communities because things were changing. And many of us, public and private, stayed the course and did the traditional ways that we've always done things. This has actually required us to take that step to evaluate and to look at what's going on in the community, look at how children learn, look at all the tools that are available that we didn't realize we really should be using. So I think it really has been in some ways beneficial to education generally, that we're going to make it a better program for everyone. I think I would encourage you to make sure, if you know a teacher, if you see a teacher in the store, that you encourage them to keep going, to keep working, to know that they're appreciated. I think that's the thing they need the most right now. As I've talked to teachers both in my school and in other schools, I don't think everyone realizes that to do an in-person education and an online education at the same time is requiring somewhere between, on a given day, 2.5 to 3 hours additional for that individual's work time. So if you take the fact that these teachers are working a full day and then you add another 2.5 to 3 hours, then you think about them going home and taking care of their families, many of them who have children or older adults living with them. Wow, what a commitment to our world, to our country, and to our kids. So I would say to all educators, thank you for being who you are, for being willing to step up and not to step out, because we needed you to step up, and you have. And there'll be an end to this at some point, I'm sure of it. And we'll go back to many of the ways that we used to, but we're going to take some of these great tools that we've discovered through the process and continue to apply them. And I think that's a benefit to our students in all sectors of education. So I would say, if you have a chance, if you're a business and you have a little time on your hands in between customers coming in and out the doors, I'd suggest you write a note, even if it's to dear teacher, and you say something about your appreciation of all that they do to make this continue for the children in our communities, because they're critical. They're the ones who are going to be here the longest. So write that little note, put it in a small envelope, take it and drop it off at the school building, and ask them to give it to any teacher that they feel needs something to pick them up. But I know it takes you a few minutes to write a note, and I know it's a challenge, and maybe you can't even get in some of our buildings right now, but there's a way you can leave an envelope or a dozen envelopes or 100 envelopes with an encouragement for a teacher to let them know, they're going above and beyond. They're doing more than they've ever done in their jobs to try to make sure children continue to learn. So I would encourage you to do that. If you have a business that has a product or has a service that you can give to someone, I'd encourage you to take one of those, buy a coupon or write a little note with your signature on it saying, in recognition of a teacher who's gone above and beyond, and give them either your product or your service for one time. You probably make a customer for life doing that, number one, but two, you'll make the day of a teacher somewhere in this community. We're all in it together. I can tell you that there's no way people make it on their own right now. We need each other. I need you, these teachers need you, you need them, and they, it's one big circle, but we're all in it together. We are going to come out of it on a good side at the end of all this, and we'll be stronger. I think we've taken a lot of things for granted for a long time. We just took it as that's the norm, and we rushed through our lives. I think for many of us, it's caused us to take a moment to step back and say, who's really trying, who's doing things? And we spend a lot of time worrying, there's no doubt about that, but we need people to remind us it will get better. There are great people in our country. You've met 4 of them today. They're doing everything they can to make sure the world continues to be in a positive place. So thank you for this opportunity for me to say a few words to you. Thank you for all you've done for education in East Dallas as a Chamber of Commerce. I'm thrilled that we were able to at least do something similar to our Teacher of the Year awards. But this is truly a unique year, and I think the unique way that the Chamber has found to acknowledge that is very special, and is a commendation to all those who made that decision that this was the right thing to do. Not to just say, oh, well, we just won't do it this year. To step out, try to think outside the box, like all of us have to do, and going, let's do something for those who are above and beyond what we're asking. And that's the group you get to see today. So thank you to that group of educators. Thank you to teachers all across East Dallas who are doing everything they can to provide education to our students in this community. So thank you. Have a great day. I wish you a safe and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Roger. I appreciate that. Wow, it's a very impactful message, and it sounded like a challenge. We know teachers. I'm sure our 4 recognized teachers would appreciate what Roger had to say, and take a moment and thank him. We do what we can as a chamber, but as a community, there is more that we can do. So thank you again, Roger. I want to take a moment and turn it over to Darlene Ellison, past chair of the Chamber of Commerce. Darlene?
Thank you, Cheryl. And first of all, I want to echo the sentiments of today. The 4 honorees, you ladies are just amazing. And thank you for everything you're doing. I cannot imagine being an educator, period, much less to do it during a year like this. So thank you all. And I'm so excited that we could honor all of you. So before we leave today, we have one more educator honoree. Forgive me for reading these notes, but I had so much I wanted to say, and we'd be here for hours if I didn't write it down and stay concise. So our final honoree today is for Roger Perry. In my mind, the man, the myth, the legend. Roger Perry loves his family, fast cars, and his Lake Hill students and faculty. In fact, he's been loving and leading all of those who pass through the hallowed doors of Lake Hill Preparatory for 46 years. Let that sink in. Since we all know how young Roger looks, he's been at Lake Hill for 46 years. But before he retires at the end of this school year, We want all of our chamber family to know that Rogers' legendary ways don't stop with Lake Hill. I have had the extreme pleasure and privilege to serve on the Greater East Dallas Chamber Board alongside Roger for 10 years. And the chamber that Roger took the helm of in 2011 as chairman was very different as a chamber than what we have today. And friends, Roger Perry had so much to do with that. I know he hates being in the spotlight, but forgive me, Roger, I need to boast on you just a little bit. Roger brought community leaders along for the ride with him on the chamber board, and as a result, had his hand in growing the diversity of the chamber board, growing our membership, growing our reputation in the community, and making a difference in the lives of all the businesses in East Dallas, which include our schools and our nonprofit businesses. To be honest, Roger has likely been ready to move to the advisory board many times in recent years, especially after being the first chairman to serve 3 consecutive years in leadership as the chamber board chair. But I believe he's already agreed to another year on our board, and we will all be better for it. Roger Perry, he is a man of great integrity. He is a quiet leader. He is my longtime mentor in this chamber. Roger is a great educator and a friend to us all. Roger, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. When I think about great leaders in education, you will forever be at the top of my list. Thank you.
Darlene, thank you so much. I'm glad I have tissues, but you just reinforce what's so special about East Dallas and our East Dallas Chamber is the people that make it up. So thank you very much. And once again, thank you, Roger Perry, for everything that you do for the Chamber and for East Dallas education. So thank you. I can get my clicker to work. Thank you again, once again, on behalf of Tammy Vines and the Education Committee for your participation. And to the teachers, once again, you are superstars, and doing everything above and beyond just is amazing. So thank you so much. And hopefully everybody on the meeting today will take Roger's challenge and let you know. Get the pots and pans and shout out out the windows how much we appreciate you and everything that you do. So thank you. And now I'd like to turn it back over to Chair Steve Moore or Deborah Brown.
Thank you very much, Cheryl. I'll do the conclusion if you mind there. So again, there's a lot has been said on this, and we appreciate everybody that all the panelists and Roger and Darlene, everybody contributed to this great event. But in particular, I'd like to thank our Community Education and Advancement Committee for their leadership at this event and all the well-deserving winners. I have to say that my kids are a little older than others in my neighborhood, but I'm going to go off the script a little bit when I saw this funny image the other day, and it reminded me perfectly of what a commitment our teachers have to put in. So I'm going to share my screen if you don't mind on here. Do this. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
So I think that my kids are a little older, they're already teenagers, but I cannot imagine of somebody who's had to teach or teach math or teach, educate or teach English or one other subject that I wasn't very good at in the first place in school. But I think it's pretty funny to show this to you anyway. It made me laugh about it. And again, reconfirm the commitment that our teachers have on here related to the school, the Chamber of Commerce, and everybody involved in there. So to our attendees, our 4 winners and Roger Perry, thank you for attending today. As we mentioned before, please check our website and social media feeds for future events, and have a safe holiday season. Thank you, everybody.